Good evening, folks. How are we all doing? It is Wednesday night. It's round 4 of the Track Titan Virtual Sprint Cup tonight. It is Watkins, Glen. Looking a bit cloudy out. The drivers just about to start their qualifying. We've got the pros and the silvers. And there is the screen we're looking for. We can see in the pros, it is Jeffrey Ritchie leading the way. He's got a 1-2-3 to his name so far. The drop round means he's got 102 points. Thomas Morant, consistency, thy name. He's switched up from the Porsche. He's in a real race car now in the Ferrari. 2 second places. Can he make it 3 for 3 or can he go one step further here at Watkins Glen? We do have a debutante this evening. And yeah, not since Leon Seeley switched to PC have I been so excited about a console driver making his way onto PC. He's likely to feature on the podium this evening. We'll see him very soon. Dan Watts there, one of 3 drivers getting race wins out of the opening 3 races. He's third in the series. Christian Romano, the other driver with a race win, currently sees himself in 4th. He's lost points due to changing cars. We've got Andre Dixon Chen, Mr. 9000, Mr. 9K, 9000 RPM, of course, 5th place. Kowaleski in 6th, Jonathan Reed in 7th, Marcus Juzma in 8th, Joe Boyle, Mr. Lynxy himself in 9th place, and Albi Alvarez rounding out the top 10 for the pros. It is the silvers that are on track at the moment, and they're being led by Klaus Christensen. 2 trips on the podium from the opening 3 races. See a 90-point tally, setting him 7 points ahead of James Rollins, who's got a 16-point gap back to Ryan McCord. 1 race 1, 10th in race 2, 7th in race number 3. Just ahead, Darren Jones then, and I do mean just ahead, only 4 points. Darren in the Porsche. He's side by side with David Lewis then. Both those drivers, as I say, 73 points, 4th and 5th in the championship so far. Mustafa Ranjbar, he's been on to the podium. He's got himself 69 points and 6th in the championship. David Danzer, your Sokach, Nelson Pinto on 47 points here, and he's lost some points due to a penalty there as well. Sees him 13 points ahead of Armand Petrovic. I'm just having a couple of issues with ACC. Crashed me a couple of times last night. Hopefully this is working now. There we go, we do live pictures. Hopefully we'll see some moving cars. Everything's frozen. No, oh there we go, there we go, there we go. We are off and running. Excellent. Yeah, 10 minutes of qualifying for the silvers, then 10 minutes of qualifying for the pros. Then it is a 1 hour race. We do have a 90-minute race as well. 40 minutes, maximum stint time are allowed for the drivers. So you're going to see drivers pitting just after 20 minutes, or just with 20 minutes left to go. There's no stint timer for the 90-minute finale. That will be a complete free-for-all. The champions in each class will receive prizes. The top 3. First place will receive a 6 months free subscription to the Track Titan Plus membership. 2nd and 3rd place will receive a 3-month and a 1-month subscription respectively. There will also be a prize draw. Every driver that takes part in 6 or more rounds will be entered into the draw to win themselves £50 as a completion bonus in the championship. So prizes right through the field. So thank you very much to Track Titan. Simply the best way to get faster with automated insights and the best educational content in sim racing. Drive, analyse and learn all with Track Titan. So get yourself over to their website. Never has there been a better time given the new 1.9, the new update. It's been a fun one. It's been a learning curve for the drivers, that is for sure. I'm going to see how they all cope this evening. Michael first, as I say, there is. Go for the gap racing. He's still in the pits at the minute. He's making his debut. He's straight into the pros. We do have another debutant this evening as well, I believe. But I didn't properly check on that because as soon as I saw that Aidan was racing. Now, isn't that the funniest thing in the world? I checked this livery specifically before the broadcast. Oh no, he's in the wrong car. Okay, he's in 128. He shouldn't be in 128. Got you. Right, okay. That explains that. But he is on pole position at the minute. Your Sokach, James Rollins, the top three at the minute. Klaus Christensen won last week's race for the Silvers. Fifth at the moment. There is, of course, the success penalties that we'll like to hand out as well, just to make it more difficult for the drivers. So the 3 podium finishers from last week's race will be gifted extra time to spend in the pits just so they could catch their breath during the excitement of the race. First place will get 15 seconds, second place will get 10 seconds, and third place will receive 5 seconds. And that is again in both classes. So we will see 6 penalties handed out as soon as lap 1 is finished. Unlikely to see anyone pitting that early again with a 40-minute stint timer. The earliest we're going to be able to see, we're going to realistically see the drivers come in to clear that is going to be the 20-minute mark, of course. We'll stay on board with Christensen for the moment. Let's see how he does on this lap. Of course, we used wait, Linksay, the weirdest thing has happened, mate. Look at that. Thank you for the subscription, bud. Really appreciate it. 7 months. We've almost had a Twitch baby. But this is the one I checked specifically. But I'm saying that he is in car number 128. So yeah, there's been some kind of clash. But yeah. When he was in the practice server, I came in. I could see his livery with Acetec on the side, and now he's in the race server. I'm somewhat confused. I am somewhat confused. But Ryan's definitely not confused. He's on pole position at the moment. 7/10 of a second. Sokach and Danzer identical times they've set at the moment. James Rollins going to be the big mover pretty soon. Only 3 minutes left for the Silvers to qualify. And in fact, Darren Jones hot on the heels again. He's got an almost identical time to Rollins, the driver ahead of him. The two of them are carrying exactly the same amount of time. Car Mentalist. Indeed, Aidan, I've just been singing your praises and now you're here. I'm going to feel weird about doing it even more. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Aidan Carter, tonight's race winner. Congratulations, Aidan, on winning your debut at SOP. It's not many people win their debut. So there we go. You can hear it. Well, I hope so. Am I a bit loud? Oh, okay. Hello, Simon.
Hello, there we go. I couldn't hear you, mate. I couldn't hear you. I was wondering what's going on.
It's because I switched off Discord instead of Chrome. So it's lucky the good people at home weren't listening to Linksay 9K from the UK and yesterday all at the same time, because that's the streams I've got running in the background.
Okay, fine.
But there we go. Good evening, Simon. Welcome to round number 4. I'm not sure. You've not heard anything I've said because I've been muted to Discord as well.
That's right. I've not heard anything.
You've not heard anything. It was honestly fascinating and insightful stuff, mate. You really need to go back and watch the VOD. It was, yeah, top draw stuff. Most of it was me apologising to Linksay for the liveries going wrong, and the other part of it, much excitement on my part. Not since Leon Seeley made his debut on PC have I been this excited for a console racer making the switch. But we've got Aidan Carter jumping in the pros this evening, Mr. Car Mentalist. He's won his fair share of races on the console, and he'll be out for the pros this evening. And in my books, yeah, that is a decent addition to the Pro League, Simon.
Yeah, we'll see what Aiden can do. I mean, it's been something like 16 or 18 months since he last raced with us. His final championship on PlayStation didn't end very well. There was a lot of controversy around that, so we'll see how things go this time around.
Yeah, indeed, he's definitely quick. I'm expecting him to be up near the podium. We've got Ryan McCord on the podium at the minute. Rawlins, though, Simon, up into second place for the SOP, just pipping Darren Jones, and last week's race winner Klaus Christensen currently sitting in fifth.
Yeah. Last week's winner only in fifth place. I mean, we say it all the time, you know, Christensen's never been a master of qualifying, but his racecraft always seems to come through, and he's always there or thereabouts at the end of the race. So we'll see if there's something similar going on today. Obviously, he's going to be hampered because we have the success penalties from the last round. The 15 seconds, 10 seconds, and 5 seconds for the top 3 in each class. So yeah, this week's silver class drivers that are going to be hit with this success penalties are Christensen, Dancer, and we are without Mr. D. Lewis. So he escapes this week. So only 2 drivers in the silvers will be getting those success penalties to serve in the pit stops, and they start 5th and 6th in silvers.
They do indeed. No success penalty for Ryan McCord, but he has successfully engineered his way onto the top spot. He'll be on the front row for the silver. So let me do that and that. So there is the final results for qualifying for the silvers. Let me just work my magic so that Simon can see that as well.
Yeah, I mean, a 44.2 is
it's a decent
pretty decent for silvers. Yeah, I know. Obviously, Ryan McCord's part of Lynxie's crew at RTO, and I think he races in the pro class on the Thursdays for the RTO League. And I know he is getting faster week in, week out as part of their academy. So yeah, I mean, he's had a bit of an up and down season here. He did take a race win, and then, if I remember correctly, he qualified, I think it was last for one of the races. So he's been very up and down season.
Yeah, that would be when we had a race an hour after the update.
Yeah, so then he's back on pole again here, so we'll see if we can hold on to that one. I'm surprised at the qualifying order. I didn't expect the BMW to be on pole here. Maybe that's just the driver putting it on pole rather than the car being super fast. We'll see what these pros can put on the tables instead. I do expect a Porsche and Ferrari to be near the front because they're naturally 2 of the fastest cars at Watkins Glen.
Well, fingers crossed for the Ferrari, as always. But yeah, McCord, and interestingly, Klaus Christensen starting in 5th, an identical sector 2 to Jones. So sharing the purple sector there between those 2. But it will be McCord leading the way in the silvers, Rawlins in 2nd, Jones and Sokach on row number 2. Obviously the pros are going to slot in here as well. Christensen and Danza 5th and 6th, Ransbar and 5th. Mr. Floppy Fox himself in the Ferrari. Always a fun mouthful. 7th and 8th, Larson and Gibbons 9th and 10th. Petrovics and Schmidt starting 11th and 12th for the silvers. The pros are out on track. Let's do this and this and this. And it is Jeffrey Ritchie. I was just looking down the order. I should have known. As soon as I looked for him, he was popping onto the top. He is leading the way in the championship. And Simon, I know it's only the early exchanges, but he's just gone half a second quicker than Page in the Ferrari. So yeah, the Porsche and the Ferrari definitely living up to the hype around this track. And Ritchie already, although Dan Watts fighting back for the BMW. Maybe RTO knows something about the BMW that the rest of us don't, Simon. Less than a 10th behind Ritchie there up at the top of the field.
Well, maybe it's just got good again on the most recent update on 1.9, because I know after the very first update there was a lot of complaints about the BMW being really off pace all of a sudden. Obviously there was that issue with tyre graining and tyre wear that needed fixing, and then they released a new patch again with an updated balance of performance, and maybe the BMW's come back into the right operating window and it's seeming to be on pace, especially here at least anyway. But I never knew it to be so good around Watkins Glen. It was always the Porsches and Ferraris near the front, and the BMWs are always a mid-pack car. But maybe that's changed on this update. And to be fair as well, I do expect some of the silver times to be mixing it in with the pros. We saw at the last round, when this championship started, it started on 1.8, and there was a clear distinction between the silver and pro drivers. Obviously they had a good 12 months on 1.8 version, so the drivers were all separated into their respective classes. Since 1.9 has dropped, the qualifying times at least have been very mixed between the silvers and the pros, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, it really has. Certainly last week we saw the silvers were right up in the mix, and I know that it was Christensen that went on to win, but who led? Oh goodness me, I've seen that much racing since I can't remember, but somebody led for quite a few. Was it Rollins?
I think it was
Rollins. It was Rollins, and his time, and him and someone else, very competitive, in and around the top 5 for the vast majority of the race. Yeah, they were. So, yeah, the silvers, since the update, like Simon says, some people have hit the ground running, some struggling a bit. Dan Watts is not struggling. He's gone quicker. He was 700s behind Simon. He's now 200s ahead. This is the type of qualifying we like to see at SOP. Nothing separating these two up at the front. Go Germany at the minute.
It is go Germany, isn't it? I mean, the BMWs are doing the business. I've got it all wrong. They're obviously very fast around here on this latest version of ACC. First and fourth. I mean, fourth place is a silver class car. So once again, we're going to be seeing those silvers mixing it in with the pros. Maybe these drivers in silvers should be reclassified as pro, but it's too late in the championship to change things now. Interestingly, both McCord and Rawlins are not leading the championship. It is Klaus Christensen with a win and a third place, with obviously the drop round coming into effect. So, I mean, McCord and Rawlins are in prime position without any success penalties. They could be looking very pretty at the end of this one, and they could both leapfrog Christensen in the championship should it stay like it is.
It should, yeah. The qualifying's really coming to life now. Only 2.5 minutes to go. We've got, it was Jones, Simon. It was Darren Jones who's in third. He's in the Twitch chat. He's saying it was himself that was leading, and he was involved in contact, got taken out. Shadow realmed at some point, and yeah. Right, but he will have, no, so he won't have ballast this time, and he is starting in third. So like you say, that gives him a good run. Andre Dixon Chen, another driver. He's always had pace. Since the update, he's another one that really has taken to this one like a duck to water. 3/10 off the pole lap at the and he's just, no, he's not. He's found it again. Oh, but then so is Jeffrey Ritchie. How far into that? That is well into the boot section. Then let's see what Dixon Chen does. He is on the bubble then, so is Jeffrey Ritchie. Amir Kashikra is looking to get himself up a few positions as well, ahead of Alvarez if he can. Dixon Chen, oh, and Thomas Morant as well actually, well down the order at the minute, but he is on a quick lap at the minute. Any improvement for Dixon Chen? He does improve and he goes third at an almost identical time to Liam Page in the Ferrari. Now Page coming in the last corner, he is on an out lap, although the telemetry's lied to me before, so let's just stay on board with him as he crosses the finish line. 55 seconds left of qualifying. Less than 3 tenths separate the first 2 rows of the grid, and they're 4 tenths ahead of 5th, and that is Ryan McCord in the silver. So the 3 silvers there, really doing well in qualifying. Alvarez has got himself up to 8th, and he's carrying a bit more time. Romano, another driver who the race after the update got himself a solid race win. Changed back to the Audi since getting that win. Now finds himself in 11th as Thomas Morant pops one into 5th position. And this will be his last go. Alvarez has got 2 tenths. Marcus Juzma and Joe Boyle as well, actually 19th at the minute, coming through the final sector. His current time good enough to get him at the 14th position overall, which would be 11th in class. That is the timer done, so whatever he does here is going to be the one. There he comes out of the last corner across the line. 8th place, worldly of the last corner then from Joe. That gets him 8th, splits the silver, so that puts him 6th in class, in fact. And Jeffrey Ritchie still hunting down time. Phenomenal qualifying at the end, Simon. A couple of drivers leaving it right to the end, but they're popping times in, and Jeffrey Ritchie looks like he might be about to spoil the smile on Dan Watt's face.
Yeah, the last flying runs, the track's going to be at its most optimal now. Liam Page, I'm just riding on board with. He's coming around the final turn. Unless there's a miracle through here, he's going to match his best lap, so he's not going to improve. He stays 4th as he crosses the line.
Oh, Jeffrey Ritchie is looking to take this by a big margin then. 2 tenths he's bringing around the last corner. Oh, and that's a big contact with the wall. Oh, and he's lost it. He was 2 tenths up on his time there as he came round that last corner. We can definitely testify to the rigidity of the wall. That thing will take a serious impact. The Porsche definitely testing that one out there. Not the ending he was looking for. It is Dan Watts then, by a massive 1700ths of a second. Unbelievable. The BMW topping both classes. Simon's position as a team manager now looking slightly tenuous, it has to be said, so it's confirmation. McCord, Rollins, Jones, Sokats, Christensen, Danzer, Ranjbar 5th. Larson, Gibbons, Petrovics and Schmidt will be starting 1 through 12 for the silvers. In the pros, it's Dan Watts taking the top spot from Jeffrey Ritchie. What a front row encounter that is going to be into turn number 1. Dixon Chen and Liam Page 3rd and 4th. 5th is Thomas Morant. In 6th, Alberto Alvarez. In 7th, it is Joe Boyle. 8th place, we've got Jonathan Reed. 9th, Christian Romano. And Koleski is going to round out the top 10 with Amir Kashiktrash in 11th place. For the pros, Marcus Juzma in 12th, Chris Fielder in 13th, and Aidan Carter going to start in 14th position, down to 24th overall. 26 drivers taking part in this one, and again, Simon, hats off to Dan Watts and Ritchie for that battle up at the front. Dixon Chen did well as well, but McCord, Rollins and Jones can certainly hold their head high. The 3 silver drivers starting in the top 10 overall.
Yes, if I'm McCord, Rollins or Jones, I'll see that I've got 4 pro drivers behind me. I love that when I'm in a different class and I've got a nice bunch of cars separating me from my next competitor. You know, they're a good few rows ahead of the next best driver in the silvers. They're looking pretty good if they can keep it clean like that. Obviously, at the top of the table in the pros, Watts and Ritchie have both got success penalties to serve because Ritchie won last time around. Morant down in 5th finished 2nd, and Watts was 3rd. So those are the 3 drivers that have got the success penalties to serve in the pit stops. If Dixon Chen and Liam Page can keep it clean, you'd think if they can hang on to the back of Ritchie and Watts, they might be looking good for the race victory because they've got no success penalties to serve, so they should jump ahead of those drivers around them when the pit stop phase comes around. And then, yeah, we'll see how drivers like Alvarez, Boyle, we know, has brilliant racecraft and usually makes up a number of places in the race from his qualifying position. And don't count out Romano either from 12th place on the grid. We'll see if he's got anything special up his sleeve for the race.
Yeah, Romano, and always a good, solid shout. He is another one of these drivers, Simon. Yeah, one of the younger generation. They've got the idea of the pit strategies. They just seem to get that idea early, get it sorted out, and yeah, he's consistent as well. But yeah, like you mentioned about Klaus Christensen as well, doesn't always get it done in qualifying. Joe Boyle the same, but you can almost guarantee that they're going to make up 3-4 places in the race, and half of those are going to be just based on the pit strategy.
Yeah, and we're finding, or I'm finding at least, these drivers are now slowly finding their feet with optimum setups. You know, we saw on the very first race people were destroying their tyres completely. Even at Barcelona, destroyed their tyres, and we were seeing multiple drivers, you know, half a second, even up to 1 second or maybe more off the pace in the second half of the race, because there is no mandatory tyre change here. We'll see if that plays a part here at Watkins Glen as well, and if anybody's made any setup mistakes this time around.
We will indeed. Oh, we've got our first casualty. Another debutant. It's Larson in the BMW. He hasn't hit start. We're about to see the start of round number 4, though. It is the Track Titan Virtual Sprint Cup, of course, sponsored by Track Titan. Get yourself over to their website. Get yourself signed up. I'm sure a lot of the drivers have, given, as Simon mentioned, their improvement. Something is... oh no, there it goes. Fixed itself. The server was running at 20 frames a second. It's like motion sickness inducing. But here we go. Around Watkins Glen, you're going to struggle to find any racer, sim or real, that's got a bad word to say about this course. It is absolutely incredible. The bus stop chicane, or the inner loop as it is officially known, one of the scariest corners, but so much fun when you get it right. And just as you catch your breath, or before you even get a chance to catch your breath, you've got the outer loop to deal with. Let's jump out of the cockpit so we don't have to listen to the brakes screeching. Warming up those tyres furiously. There is the link in the chat, in fact, from Simon, my secretary. Bang on cue once again. Excellent stuff. Thomas Morant starting in 5th in the Ferrari. So, I mean, Simon, it certainly opens up, like you were saying, the Porsche and the Ferrari usually quick around here. In both classes, though, the BMW is doing well in quali. Do you think that there's a potential they're going to get found out in the race by the Porsche and the Ferrari, or are we now in lands of, well, we just don't know, and in the hands of these two drivers, anything's possible?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of the unknown, to be honest. I wasn't expecting the BMW to be on pole in either class, and it is, so I'm eating my words right now. Porsche's notoriously has been always the fastest car here. Not too far behind, but not as dominant as I was expecting. But, you know, we've seen before, qualifying is one thing, race pace is a whole entire different ball game. We'll see if the BMW can match its qualifying performance in the race. One car that I am expecting to actually go backwards, potentially, is the Ferrari. It seems to be one of the worst on tyre wear right now, even though it's usually one of the best in qualifying. Same for the BMW, even though it was at Barcelona. The race pace of the BMW at Barcelona seemed to suffer a little bit compared to its qualifying pace. And we know that the Ferrari is quite poor off the line. So you could expect multiple Ferrari drivers being jumped off the line by multiple cars, especially if you're in a BMW, Porsche or Audi, which are pretty decent off the line. So expect Page, Morant and Alvarez to potentially be swamped by other cars. On that note, though, I'm going to go into the steward's room to watch for lap 1 incidents, and then obviously hand out the success penalties after lap 1, John. So I will be joining you a few laps into the race.
Excellent. We look forward to seeing you. Hopefully you get a nice easy shift. Turn 1 should be fun. Hezzy in the chat. Go RTO. RTO are definitely going. They've got Watts leading the way in the pros and McCord leading the way in the silvers. Neither of these two drivers will have success penalties to serve in the pits. That could be pivotal, as Jeffrey Ritchie starting in second does have. He will have extra time to spend in the pits. That will of course be handed out at the end. 1 hour of Watkins, Glen. Here we go. We do have one car that's starting in the pits, and there's the green light. And a look at the start by the Porsche. Absolutely destroyed the Audi as well. Look at the run he's getting. The Ferrari of Page looking to make a move as well. And McCord looking like he's coming under serious threat there from Albi Alvarez. In fact, Alvarez makes a move right up the inside. The Ferrari looking good there. There's another RTO. That's Joe Boyle, not wasting any time this time. He usually likes to wait till the end of the race to make up the places. Not so in this one. Look at the start he's got up the hill. That's 2 overtakes already. He's potentially looking to make a third and a fourth. As you can see, Albi Alvarez and teammate Ryan McCord just ahead of him. Was going to be 3 wide with this lot into. Oh, he's backed out with the brakes to make sure there's no contact. He almost took the Aston Martin up the rear, the BMW. For that is Jonathan Reed. He's made his way up the inside and got an overtake done there. It's Jeffrey Ritchie who got the jump and is leading the way then. Dan Watson second, Dixon Chen in third, Liam Page still in fourth with Thomas Morant still in 5th position. McCord's in 6th, Alvarez in 7th, Joe Boyle up to 7th in class then. James Rollins still in 2nd, with Jones still in 3rd in the silvers. Romano there in 12th. Down at the back of the field, Aidan Carter's made up a few places since the start. Larson's got himself out of the pit. Schmidt just behind Jusma then in the Lambo, really struggling this time. He's lost a lot of time there, has Jusma, and that's the GTR that we can see chasing him down. So yeah, he did get a slow start. That is Petrovic's ahead of him, and Gibbons behind him. I think Gibbons goes round the outside here. Oh, and the Lambo on the grass. Complete unforced error there. Oh, as you can see, one of the Porsches having to take the escape route. Oh, and he's clipped a barrier on exit. That is David Danzer. Oh, David Danzer started in 5th place in class. That is pretty much a write-off there. He's going to struggle to get that thing back. And Aidan Larson, and that's him making his way out of the pits. Jeffrey Ritchie, that's where we jump back on board to see them finish this lap. As you can see, Dixon Chen under all kinds of pressure from Liam Page in the Ferrari as they are coming down towards the middle of the boot section. Has a big look up the inside, really on the inside curve, avoids contact on the exit. Not sure what is going on. Apologies for the quality of the stream. It seemed to be losing some frames. Hopefully it's not too bad. Yeah, if anyone is struggling with the frame rate on the stream, you can go to the little cog at the bottom left and put the resolution down a bit, and hopefully that will help. Apologies, I'll see if I can get that fixed. For next to Liam Page, oh, up the hill, right up the inside. That is a beautiful move on Dixon Chen. Oh no, that's Liam Page on Thomas Morant, sorry. No, Ryan McCord coming back at Liam Page. There is Albi Alvarez in the background. Jonathan Reed, who we saw make up a couple of positions at the start as well. He's up there in 8th place now, following his teammate. There is the success penalties from the last round being handed out. So McCord is given more than a solid account of himself there. 6th overall. He's got Liam Page just ahead of him. And as we can confirm, oh yeah, sorry, Dan Watts did finish 3rd last week, so he's got 5 seconds to serve in the pits. Ritchie with his 15 seconds, Morant with the 10 seconds, and Liam Page looking very quick behind him. Indeed, Ryan Cord still very much in contention there as well. Jones, oh, that's Rollins running out wide. Christian Romano finding a side-by-side up the hill. Jones has made it through in the Porsche, so too Romano round the outside then. That's Rollins losing positions. And that is Jones up into 2nd place in the silvers then. So a great move there by him. McCord having a phenomenal run up at the front. There you can see Christensen's been given his 15 seconds. Mustafa Ranjbar looking to make his way back through the field in the Aston Martin. Marcus Juzma as well, the Lambo. The Pro Lambo was saw out on the grass then. Not sure what was going on. But he seems to be running okay now, judging by the lap times. Closing in on Gibbons ahead. Kowaleski, a driver that's tumbled down the order as well after that early incident. Now 23rd overall, so well down the order in the pros. So he's getting out in the front though. Ritchie, 3.2 seconds in the lead already. He needs that gap out to 10 seconds by the time he comes into the pits to negate the penalties that they've got. Morant at the minute, full defend mode from Page behind him. Morant's got a 10-second gap, so he will do everything he can to keep Page at least behind him, and if he does get the overtake done, he'll obviously look to stay within the 10 seconds. You can see in the background McCord and Reed going out. McCord still holding 6th place overall, and he's still got first in the silver. He's now got 3 pros separating him from his next rival. It was only one at the start of the day. Jonathan Reed still defending from Albie Alvarez, and they've got Joe Boyle again up a few. Got those positions, absolute rocket of a start that he got. And in fact, Jones in the Porsche. Now that he's got himself free of Romano and Rollins, he is flying along that back straight. The Silvers really giving a solid account of themselves in this race. Ransbar in 5th. Still battling out for 6th position. And oh, Ransbar tumbling down the order. So there he is, successfully making out with turn number 1. Up the hill. Oh, and the back of the car's just let go. Oh, and he's avoided contact. He has gone straight into the barrier there. So that's up through turn number 2 onto the back straight and into the inner loop, and that is all those positions lost. Kowaleski now right behind him. And in fact, the two of them are going side by side through the boot section. We'll check back up at the front though, because it is unbelievably close. Darren Jones hunting on the back of this pack of pros. And in fact, Christensen, last week's race winner in the silvers, knocking on the door of 4th at the minute. He's got Sokach and Rollins just ahead of him. Rollins catching up onto the back of Romano. The pro now a 2nd down on Jones ahead of him. Jones, though, as you can see, well in touch with the pros ahead as he comes into turn number 1. He's just how close Alvarez and McCord are. In fact, McCord down to 7th position. Jonathan Reed has got that overtake done. So he's now up to 6th overall, stays 6th in class. McCord still sandwiched between pros. It's Alvarez he's got just behind him. You see Joe Boyle having a look at the inside of the inner loop, exit bar of the brakes. He's letting Alvarez know he's there to make an overtake should the door open. Oh, and that is a bit of a run wide then. Liam Page didn't get the exit that he wanted. That's caused him... Oh no, that's not Liam Page, sorry. It's Jonathan Reed. Jonathan Reed causing himself all kinds of problems through the inner loop then. Let's watch this one again. Coming along the back straight, you can see he's got this battle going on behind him, and he's got Thomas Morant, his teammate, just ahead. Oh, so a bit of extra lateral movement there, and he very nearly takes Ryan McCord right in the rear spoiler then. Albie Alvarez quick to pounce on the potential move there. Nothing doing as they run down the hill for the Ferrari, but Jonathan Reed does hang on then to the 6th position. He's only just gained. But he certainly brought McCord and the chasing pack right back into this one. Klaus Christensen still trying to craft a way past your Sokach at the minute. I think we should stay on board with Darren Jones. Yeah, there we go then. So he is 10th place, 10th overall, 2nd in class. Of course, long-time race leader. And we can see from this pace exactly why last week. And look how close Boyle is getting to Alvarez now. And I imagine that's a massive help to his teammate who is just ahead of him. Passing your seat on the map is terrible. But you see Alvarez all over the back. But Alvarez knows if he tries to get an overtake and doesn't make it stick, Boyle's going to slide right on in there. Double slipstream. Alvarez moves over. He's got no choice. He's got to defend. He had no place else to go. Boyle around the outside. All three of them make it over beautifully. Right back into line once again. Unbelievable control from all three drivers. And again, Jones in the back. And there is Romano closing in on this battle. And James Rollins not too far behind either. And that, yep, just coming down the hill. That is your Sokats. And Klaus Christensen, the top 14. Still right on top of one another. As we jump back on to Boyle's car up through the hill once again. Oh, and the back of the Ferrari's gone. Alvarez, he's lost the back of that Ferrari and he's going to lose 1-2 positions potentially. Yes, indeed he is. And I tell you what, it's going to be Romano having a good old look as well. As we can see him closing in. That is Jones going to get his nose in front on the exit. A bit slight bit of contact, and that's thrown the Ferrari right off and open him up to the attack from the Audi. The Audi round the outside potentially. Nope, he's going for a cutback maybe. No, he doesn't. But what that's done is that's brought Rollins right back in the hunt. Rollins now all over the back of Romano as they finish up lap number 6. Let's see where Jones is. He's still got a bit of breathing space to Alvarez. Alvarez now behind Joe Boyle.
And I'm back.
And Simon is back. What a start we've had, Simon. We're just about to watch Joe Boyle, who got an absolute lightning start. We missed the overtake.
I didn't want
Oh, it was when Alvarez was sideways.
Yeah. Fantastic stuff. That was the first 10 minutes of this.
Oh, it's been incredible. I mean, yeah, with all the action that we've got, we've kind of forgotten the fact that Jeffrey Ritchie is an alien. He's 6 seconds ahead of Dan Watts already in the BMW. Page got a 5 seconds gap back to Dixon Chen. And then it is, dealer's choice really. You pick a number and guarantee that within a couple of tenths of a second of the driver front and back of them. Boyle at the minute a second down on his teammate Ryan McCord, who, safe to say, Simon, has got to grips with the new update after the last couple of runs and shown some phenomenal pace and racecraft here. Reed got the overtake done. McCord head down, consistent lap after lap after lap, and early doors, but got to be hot favourite for a race win in this class now.
Yeah, I mean, his teammate is up in second place in the pros. You can imagine that they're running similar or identical setups, being in the same team, and he's doing a fantastic job right now, sitting P7 overall, first in silver class. And the crucial thing is he's got space between himself and the rest of his competitors, especially Jones, and then Rawlins is even further back again with 2 pros just in front of him. So everything going according to plan for McCord right now. And like you just said, it's only his teammate behind him as well. So yes, there probably is pressure, but not really that much pressure because it's his teammate and he's not going to put him under too much pressure. Or he may just let him go because he's in a completely different class anyway, so there's not going to be too much fighting going on between those two, I'd imagine. Ritchie at the front of the field, 7 seconds to the good now. He needs to create that 15-second gap if he's to come back out of the pits in the lead. Liam Page is looking to close up onto the top 2 now. He's got past Dixon Chen, and Morant is falling further adrift to Reed. I can't see what you're seeing, John, because I've lost the Discord live. I'm not sure if that was what's causing the issues on stream. There we go, we're on board with Aidan Carter now. So another driver who's new to the series, not SUP. Maybe in the wrong class. We discussed putting him in pros because of his performances on PlayStation. Obviously, he may not be up to speed with how PC version of ACC runs, so it's not too much of a task to move him to still was his very first race in this series on PC. So yeah, moving back down to silvers where you can be a bit more competitive.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd maybe let him get a grip to his setup. He did say in the chat his quality setup wasn't quite on point, and his lap times are actually pretty competitive.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, it is, yeah. 45.8 he's doing at the minute, so he should be running 9th. Quicker than Albi Alvarez currently, so yeah. He's making me up to 15th. Yeah, I would... I'd hold off on moving him up just in case. Stick him up to silvers next week and when he's found his pace, because it won't take him long, and then he'll be competing with the top 3, that is for sure. Especially what we're seeing from the rest of the silvers. Jones having a great race at the minute, right behind Joe Boyle, half a second gap there, 7/10 now separating Boyle, McCord and Morant. Morant's to come to that overtake from Jonathan Reed. Then they're separated by 1.5 seconds. Reed making up quite a few places in that BMW. Unlike Watts at the minute, he's down 1 on his starting position and down 8.5 seconds. So Richie very nearly got the cushion at ease. Oh, Watts having a big slide on the exit there. Doesn't want to do that too often, of course. And looking down the field, Mustafa Ransbar there in 20th position. Got his teammate Juzma just gone past him. They've got Gibbons just ahead of them. Kowaleski's recovered from his early woes. He's 21st overall. Schmidt has got past Petrovics. And David Danzer. Yeah, an unfortunate one for David Danzer. Simon, he took the exit. He had to take the exit road on the way into the inner loop chicane. Just clipped. It didn't even look like. I mean, it looked like a barely front quarter panel contact. Completely separated his front bonnet from the rest of the car, pretty much. And race over.
That was well, I reviewed that anyway because I saw the yellow flag on lap 1, so I needed to see the replay. Quite a weird one. It just looks like he completely misjudged the gap between himself and the bollards, and the bollard won. So, yeah, race over on the very first lap, which is very unfortunate because Dancer was in a good position for the championship. I mean, we do have the drop round feature here in this series, so not all is lost. But you can't really afford to have any more mistakes in the championship now if he wants to fight for the victory. I'm sure he'll come back and fight another day at Valencia next, which again is a pretty good track for the Porsche and Ferrari and Mercedes. So yeah, you can imagine those 3 manufacturers going at it at Valencia next week. It looks like Liam Page is actually closing rather rapidly on Dan Watts, so Watts might be suffering with his setup potentially.
But I tell you where,
which is going to be very interesting to see. This is what I love about this new update. Setups are so crucial. You know, if drivers are pushing too hard on those opening laps, it really affects how the tyres operate. Even just we're seeing now 10 laps in, the tyres can lose their peak performance this early on. Liam Page looks like he's found some performance at this stage of the race because he's really closing in on Watts and he's managed to pull 6 seconds to Dixon Chen. So Liam Page on course for a potential race win if he can stay within 15 seconds of Ritchie. Right now he's, what is he, 12 seconds behind Ritchie, so he's in that window at the minute. He's definitely going to jump Watts in the pits, but we'll see. Who's that going over?
What's
Mr. Jones. What's happened there? He's just pulled over to the track.
What's going on there? Oh, it's just that, yeah.
Potentially something to do with his equipment. Wheel disconnect, something like that, maybe. He's running again.
Wow, he really was giving Linksy a whole handful there. Like, he was properly on the back of Linksy. Some beautiful driving between the two of them. Jones going to tumble down the order. Speaking of beautiful driving, 2 of the best in the chat, Peter Brett and Carbon, both in. Ritchie is just running away. Yes, he is. Yes, he had 9.2 seconds to the good. Not too shabby when you consider the rest of the field. That is some very quick stuff. Captain Patience once again. Klaus Christensen, he spent 11 laps, less than half a second behind Sokatsu. I do know last week he did have a bit more. He was held up in the latter stint of the race. Hopefully he gets his elbows out. Get a wee overtake done there, Klaus. You can do it. You've got 15 seconds to overturn in the pits as well. Come on. Juzma all over the back of Gibbons. And in fact, I think he's just got the overtake done. Yes, he has. Juzma ahead. Ransbar just behind. Christensen still with that half a second to overturn. Boyle and McCord, Team RTO. McCord 7th overall, first for the Silvers. Got Boyle and Alvarez separating him from second place, which is James Rollins. Your Sokat's in third. So Christensen not even battling for third. This is for a podium. Come on, Christensen, you can do it. I'm not biased, you are. He's in fourth at the minute, and in 15 seconds to overturn. Michael Firth is fourth in class. Floppy Fox in the Ferrari, also known as Michael Firth, is fourth in class. Excellent. And it is Darren Jones who has corrected whatever ailed him. Got to be some kind of technical issue or a rampant child. We do know that children like to get themselves in the way when Dad's having a race. But whatever it is, Jones now back out in fourth place. He's got Juzma behind him, but it's Gibbons next in class. Then Ransbar, Schmidt and Petrovics. Up at the front, the gap has widened once again. We're now going to be just over the 10-second mark, which means he's done the job on Dan Watts. Liam Page still hanging in there, though. If this gap is less, and it is, 13 seconds separate Page from Richie. We do have some extra information in the chat as well, Simon. Watts is only taking on fuel, so he might be tyre saving at the minute. Although the sentence in Twitch does just say, it's from Peter Brett, Watts is only taking fuel, and he thinks that Richie needs fuel and tyre, so that's going to be another 15 seconds gained for Watts potentially in the race. So Watts could be tyre saving at the moment if he's looking to run these for the full hour maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we saw at round one that Richie did take tyres in his pit stop. As there's a yellow flag.
Who is that for? 1-3.
That's Gibbons in the Ferrari, 7th in the Silvers.
Right, 137. I got confused then, because that's usually Thomas Morant's number, but Morant's in 138 today. Interesting, I'm not sure why that's happened. Nevertheless, never mind. They moved her on. It looks like Morant's actually struggling. He's only 2/10 in front of McCord right now, who's got his teammate Joe Boyle with good company. So I'm not sure why Morant is slipping down the order. Again, down to setup here now. Could be struggling with his tyres already. The max driving time stint is, I was just about to say, is now time that we might see drivers coming into their pit stops, because the 40-minute stint timer is coming to play. If they do decide to pit now, including the extra lap that they might have after the flag, you're good to go to the end of the race. So if you are stuck behind anybody and you think you're quicker at this point, it might be a good time to jump into the pits and try and get the undercut on your competitors. Even if you're not changing tyres, it gives you that free air where you can put those faster laps in. Yeah, it's an interesting one with Dixon Chen. He seems to have got the qualifying performance of that Audi down to a T. You know, the last 3 rounds he's been there or thereabouts for the qualifying performance. But then when it comes to the race pace, there seems to be something that's not quite happening with that Audi. It seems to lose a lot of performance in race trim. We saw him drop down last week. We're seeing him drop down here this week. We're seeing the BMW actually have some pretty good performance. 3 BMWs in the top 7, split across 2 classes. And Jonathan Reed looking to make more moves. Potentially, is he going to be on the podium at the end of this one? I mean, it's going to be close. Dixon, Chen and Reed are battling now in their 10 seconds adrift as they almost go side by side. You definitely don't want to be side by side through that chicane, that's for sure. So they motor on for another lap as we see another yellow flag for the 137.
Yeah, sorry, I almost killed myself by drinking a cup of tea far too rapidly there. I'm back in the room.
You sound like you're almost dying, John. Yeah.
It was close, it was touch and go there for a second. But yeah, Christensen has got the overtake done. He is ahead of your Sokach, so that's him back into a podium position. Sokach's now got Kasikarash hunting him down. We did miss the overtake. Oh, honestly, that genuinely felt like on the inside of my elbows there. Boyle still chasing down his teammate. It's all about the pit stops now. Up at the front page, ahead of Dixon Chen. Let's see where he gets the overtake done then. Are we going to catch it on the replay? Hopefully we do. Down into the boot section.
Who? For Page?
Yeah.
He got that job done ages ago. Page is 12 seconds clear of Dixon Chen.
Reed, sorry. Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm getting confused with the SOP liveries, or lack of.
Page is now only 1.5 seconds behind Watts, actually.
That's what I was looking at.
He's still Page is still within that 15-second window of Richie. I wonder if Richie's pace is going to drop off substantially compared to Page's in these next 30 minutes. I might try and find Richie's stream to see if he's going to take tyres or not. And then we'll know live in the commentary box what's going to be unfolding in the race.
Yeah, what's happened to Boyle?
He's boiled over.
He has indeed. Looks like him and Morant have changed positions and then changed back again, so it must have been close. So yeah, Morant, there he was ahead on the exit of turn number 1. Everything was fine there, chasing them, or being chased up the hill at this point. He is now behind the 2 teammates. Ooh, the back of the Ferrari almost looked like it let go there. Definitely looked like a lot of momentum lost as it comes towards it. And look at the BMW closing the distance, flying past like he's standing still. So they're side by side on their way into the inner loop. Morant has to yield in on that inside, loses control of the car momentarily, and that lets Boyle sail on through as well. The 2 RTO drivers then improved in position. McCord back to his starting position of 6th, and Jonathan Reed currently in the pits then. So he's come in to take his pit stop. We are pretty much on the halfway mark of the halfway mark, and there's Jeffrey Ritchie into the pits as well.
He is taking tyres, John.
Okay. So Ritchie, he is going to have a long pit stop then. Sokach has come into the pits as well. He's tumbling down the order. Reed's in there and Ritchie in there as well. That puts Watts in the lead. Page into 2nd. Dixon Chen in 3rd. McCord up into 4th. Overall with a 1.1 second gap over his teammate Boyle in the pros. Boyle up quite a few positions himself from the start. Ritchie, that was still a lightning quick pit stop considering
45 seconds he was stationary.
Okay, so yeah, the 15-second penalty. 30. Oh, Jonathan Reed.
Speeding in the pits.
There
Well,
goes the podium chance.
if Liam Page isn't taking tyres, I think he's firmly in position to pick up the race victory here, John. He's only 1.7 seconds behind Watts, so we know he's going to jump in unless something terrible goes wrong in the pit stop. And he's got 14 seconds to the good over Dixon Chen as Page is in. We'll find out if he does decide to just take fuel. We'll see how long he's up on those jacks, John.
Yeah,
Jacks,
well, hey, it was easy for you to say. Almost sounded like a decent pair of jeans. Dixon Chen, he stays out. He's got 9 minutes then to come in. Morant's come in. He's got that 10-second penalty to serve. Christensen still out third in the silvers. Rollins stays out as well. He's second in the silvers. And McCord, of course, still out on this lap. Alvarez is ahead of Richie.
Tyres. I did not expect Page to take tyres, but he is.
Thomas Brandt's in the pits as well. But yeah, Alberto Alvarez is currently ahead. Liam Page on his out is currently ahead of Richie. I'm trying to get confirmation what that gap is. Not by much at all. Only 2.5 seconds.
Page still got the job done. Richie got the job done over Page, sorry.
Yeah, he has, yeah. So it's almost identical gaps between Alvarez and Richie as there is between Richie and Page. So
I'm
yeah.
surprised with that one, John. I am surprised. Page
Well,
could have been 20 seconds up the road if he didn't take tyres.
yeah, but we have said that the Ferraris do seem to struggle, or have struggled a lot since the update with their tyre wear, so maybe the drop off in the last 10 minutes not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how the next 30 minutes unfolds. I mean, I'm just looking on board with Jeffrey Ritchie now, and already 2 laps on this set of tyres, and his left rear is already flashing yellow and orange. So we'll see if those tyres, the performance in those tyres lasts long enough to hold off Page.
Yeah, we will indeed. We've got Michael Firth coming into the pits, joining class leader Ryan McCord. He's dropped on his way. Christensen and Rollins have both stayed out. Dan Watts, we'll get confirmation on his position, where he is in relation to Alvarez.
Miles up the road.
Miles up the road. So yeah, tyre saving certainly seems to be the order of the day there.
Even Alvarez has got ahead of Ritchie and Page.
Yep.
Ritchie and Page aren't on the podium as it stands.
Yes. Yeah, well, Dixon Chen, depends what happens with Dixon Chen, but yeah, Ritchie behind Alvarez, and then Watts, Liam Page down the road. So yeah, Watts having a worldie of a pit stop then. That's
Even McCord got ahead of Page. Taking the tyres has not worked out well here.
Well, we'll say that. Let's see what happens in the closing few laps.
Morant all the way down in 19th. He must have taken tyres as well as the penalty. He's lost out dramatically.
Joe Boyle into the pits, so too Klaus Christensen. He's got a 15-second penalty to serve. Linksay, Boyle's RTO teammate, Watts goes through. He's catching up to the Honda just ahead of him.
Here we go. Boyle's going to get out ahead of Page and Ritchie as well.
Oh, it's going to be close.
Oh, speeding in the pit lane for Joe Boyle. How unfortunate.
That is devastating. After the start he's had and the race he's had.
He was in that second place there as well.
Yes, he was. Or he is, sorry.
That's
he
what
is
I mean,
net
yeah.
second at the moment, yeah. But that's...
That's a killer, that is.
That is absolutely brutal. On-track leader at the moment, Andre Dixon-Chen. No slouch at the minute as well, actually. His fastest lap of the race is a 45.4. So he's definitely there or thereabouts. Dan Watts with a 44.6. His quickest of the race so far. Jeffrey Ritchie, a 43.8. The only driver to get in to the 43s. That is absolutely Olympic pace. So much quicker.
Yeah, that's the difference. That's the difference between an ordinary league driver and an SRO esports driver, John. Those margins really do make a difference.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah, 8/10 quicker over the lap. Mick Friedrich. I hope I've done that some justice. Good evening, welcome in. I hope you're here for some serious racing action as Rollins comes into the pit. So too does Kobolewski. Ritchie then in 9th. He has caught up. Who's that coming into the pits? That is an RTO car. Oh, Boyle coming back in to serve his penalty. So Ritchie did catch him on track. Boyle in to serve that penalty. That is brutal. His teammate Ryan McCord will come back past him. McCord lost a lot of time with Boyle in the pits there. And I tell you, he's lost a lot of time overall because I don't know if I've actually recognised this yet, but James Rollins is now in the lead for the Silvers. He's just out of the pits, and in fact, he's right on top. That's Ryan McCord right on top of him.
It is. It is.
Oh, wow, it really is. This is the battle then for the lead in the Silvers. Look how close these two are. Aston Martin versus BMW. McCord versus Rollins. It's just a pity his livery hasn't worked. Do a bit of the old passenger seats. Will come through the boot section. Still got Dixon, Chen, Fielder and Ranjbar to take their pits. Petrovic's just taking his pit in the silver. He's 7th at the moment. Boyle coming back onto the track after serving that stop go 32nd penalty. Tumbling down the order. He's behind Jusma, Moran and Carter then. Back out 19th overall. Puts him 12th in class at the minute. These two still very close. Dixon Chen comes in to take his pit. Dan Watts through turn 1. Chris Fielder following Dixon Chen in. Dixon Chen with a very quick stop. Very quick stop by Dixon Chen. And has he done it? I'll tell you what. I think he has, Simon. Long first stint for the win. Andre Dixon Chen in second position then.
Indeed he is. The gap to Ritchie isn't too big. It's whether Dixon Chen can hold on with those old tyres for the next 20-21 minutes. Ritchie's going to be closing pretty rapidly. There's only one driver left to come into the pits, and that's the 505 of Ranjbar. He needs to get a move on because his stint time is going to run out in 1 minute and 20 seconds. So if he's not in the pits by then, he will be getting a hefty penalty for exceeding stint timer. But Ritchie's all over the back of him as well, so he wants to hope that those who don't have a small collision or anything like that on track. Yeah, Page has lost out massively. He's behind Watts, Dixon Chen, Ritchie and Alvarez. I thought Page was going to be on for the win. If he didn't take tyres, he would have been leading the race. Watts seemingly hasn't taken tyres, neither did Dixon Chen, and it seems to be the right strategy at this point of the race with 20 minutes to go, because they got a nice gap over Ritchie, Alvarez and Page, who are all fighting for that final podium position now.
Yeah, they are there. Just a quick replay of Michael Firth there, just losing it down at the bottom of the boot section, losing a couple of positions, and in fact that's Christensen. sailing himself back up to, at the moment, we'll say 4th, because Ransbar has come in to take his pits. He did make it in just in time. There he is there. So Rollins and McCord already through. Ransbar. Then it's going to be Sokach with Firth and Christensen. So Christensen with that penalty to serve, that's cost him that time, obviously. Sokach back on to the podium then. That's them sailing past. Michael Firth back in the pits. He must have had a big contact then, but he is back in the pits. A second trip in then for Floppy Fox. We'll see what happens with Ransbar. He is definitely behind Sokach and Christensen. Christensen will be looking to get himself back on the podium if he can. He's got a Farrell chasing his hand. It took him 11 laps to get past Sokach in stint number 1. He's got 4.5 seconds and about 11 laps maybe to make that up. Liam Page has just dispensed with Albie Alvarez, and in fact we've missed that one. He got it done through the inner loop there. I think Alvarez had a bit of a moment going through, and that is a big gap then. So Liam Page, oh, that is Barry Gibbons. Stationary at the bottom of the boot. The back of the Ferrari has completely let go on him. He's done a 180 facing the wrong way up the hill. He's righted himself there. The silver driver, a bit of a mare there. Michael Firth still in those pits. Christensen now only 3.8 behind your Sokach. And Liam Page now 5.6 down on Jeffrey Ritchie, who is 1.5 down on Andre Dixon Chen, who's in second place at the moment. 18 minutes left to go. Dan Watts in the BMW leading the way. Ryan McCord, Simon, looking to quickly overturn the gap between himself and Rollins. He may have lost time with his success penalty, but he really is catching up Rollins, and it looks like it could be a BMW clean sweep in both the silvers and the pros.
We're on the same team as well, yeah. Is looking good at the minute for the BMW drivers of the RTO team. It looks like McCord's just dropping a little bit of pace actually to Rawlins now. I didn't keep track of Rawlins' stop. I don't know if either of them are on new tyre or old tyres, but they're certainly matching each other at this stage of race for pace. I wonder if McCord's just biding his time with 18 minutes remaining, because he did look to have the speed advantage over Rawlins. It's just very hard to try and get a clean overtake here, as Ritchie's almost onto the back of Dixon Chen now. I wonder if Dixon Chen's going to put up much of a fight, or if he thinks he's going to be better trying to consolidate third place in pros, because he'll know that Page is almost six seconds behind. Fantastic strategy there from Dixon Chen. It looked like he had really struggled in that first stint, but he's made the pit stop strategy work in his favour at the minute, and he's back up into the top 2. I know he's 15 seconds adrift of Watts. I don't think Watts is going to be caught in this race now. 15 seconds ahead with just over 15 minutes remaining. There's nobody that's going to be able to do 1 second per lap faster at this stage of the race. So yeah, it's all looking like it's playing out in the favour of those drivers who didn't take tyres at the minute. Fielder actually has had a blinder up to 8th place. Wasn't he almost last in pro at the start of this race? I think he was.
Yes. Can't confirm.
So up to P6 in class. That's a good performance from Chris Fielder there. Obviously we lost Reed to a stop-go. We lost Boyle to a stop-go. Carter's not been able to make up much progress in his attack for the pros, and Morant fallen back to 15th, so not sure what's gone on there from 5th place or 4th place on the grid. So Morant needs to try and find some pace. He's now just been able to get past Ranjbar, but he's 5 seconds drift to Juzma and Kowaleski, who were in 12th and 13th overall. Looks like Christensen is slowly closing, like you pointed out, John. He's 3.4 seconds behind Sokach. We'll see if Kasitarash helps him in any way, trying to make his way past a silver driver. We'll see if he puts up any fight whatsoever. There's 3.1 seconds, so 3/10 already just in that next delta, time and delta on track. So that gap is coming down nicely, as well as Richie has disposed of Dixon Chen. Then I missed that one as I was talking about other things happening as we are watching the replay then.
And it's through the boot section. Richie in the Porsche, fully signal intent, more than enough room left by both drivers, as you would expect. Richie right up the middle line there, very quick. And I think that's as you suspected, Simon. You did wonder, would Dixon Chen put up much of a fight considering how much he was closing, and let's face it, third place in this field is still a massive achievement, so no point in trying to defend. I mean, Dixon Chen's quickest lap 45.4, Richie's quickest lap of 43.8. Very speedy, quick indeed. Can he close in and catch up on Dan Watts up at the front? It is a Herculean task. Like you're saying, he needs to make up 1 second, Simon, for every minute left in the race. So that's, literally a second and a half a lap. Could be a tall order. So Watts, looking good for the BMW win. Kowaleski all over the back of Christensen. Frustrating for them both, I'm sure. Kowaleski looking to improve, and Christensen is closing in on the drivers ahead. Kasitarash not able to get past Sokach himself. From what we've seen in the early stages, Sokach fending off Christensen for a good 11-12 laps. So he can definitely defend, and he is going to have to do so. Of course, Kasitarash not a position. He won't lose a position in the championship standings. Kasitarash is in the pro, but as Simon says, and I know from racing in the bottom splits of multi-tiered organisations, it's always nice to finish ahead of the drivers in the tier above you. Another happens to me very often. But on the odd occasion.
Yes.
Yeah, on the odd occasion. Although I did quite well in New World Sim Racing at the Nürburgring, made up 21 positions or something crazy like that in the mixed rainy conditions. So that's pretty much the highlight of my entire 4-year sim racing career. Well, what a highlight it was, to be honest. Let's see, 14 seconds, still the gap there. 2 minutes in. The bang there. Kowaleski now, or still is behind Christensen, sorry. Kasitarash still behind Sokach. And Jones still behind Carter then. Carter doing a great defensive job at the minute. Jones was leading leading the Silvers right up to the final few laps last time out. Was involved in an incident that's robbed him of the race win. He's had some kind of technical issue or something's happened to him at some point during the race. He's had to pull over and it's dropped him right down the order. At the minute, the two Porsches duking it out for 16th overall. Jones currently sitting in 6th in class. Again, this overtake won't get him any more points in the championship, but it is still nice to get those overtakes done. Kowalski still trying to get his way past Christensen. Kasitarash still got no answer to Sokach's defending. They're 2.7 seconds down on Chris Fielder. Definitely worth an honourable mention, as Simon said, made up quite a few positions in this Honda. He's going to finish 6th overall, so a good points tally. Ahead of him though, the battle for the Silvers. Now sitting at 1.4 seconds. 1.4 seconds is sitting at between the Aston and the BMW. So it was looking good for the BMW clean sweep. James Rollins, Simon, obviously hasn't gotten that memo. And he is a couple of tenths per sector, increasing the gap over McCord.
Yeah, there's just a few mistakes creeping in with McCord now. He might just be trying too hard to close that gap up to Rawlins, and Rawlins is just keeping it smoother, keeping it cleaner, putting those delta times in. That's looking like it may secure the win for him. riding on board with a replay. Christensen in the silvers against the pro driver here. Does he just let him through?
Yeah, that's all the slipstream in the world there. Kovalevsky playing his cards absolutely perfectly as he chased them up the hill. Kept behind you as soon as he got into the back straight. Look at the pace differential. Much later on the brakes, throws it through the inner loop. Christensen keeps it nice and steady. Christensen, I'm sure now will try and hang on to the back there, get some slipstream. Morant closing in and getting the move done on Juzma. So Morant definitely suffering in the pit stop. I did wonder if in the closing stages those tyres would give him some kind of advantage. Certainly has one over the Lamborghini, and a similar move by the look of it that we've just seen onto the back straight and into the inner loop. Oh, a bit of a stutter there. Everything froze up. Hopefully it was okay for the drivers on track. And on the outer loop then, still, oh, just a lot more pace on that exit. Sails it round the outside, down the hill. Takes it inside onto the left-hander. Oh, well, extra dab of the brakes there to stop and run right. Almost allowing the Lamborghini to make a counter move as they chase back up the hill. But that is Morant. Back up to 13th overall. Christensen, the driver ahead of him. Kovalevsky has shown him. Oh, no, he's not. Sorry, that timing board, not the right one I was looking at there. Oh, and Dixon Chen.
Liam Page and Dixon Chen, yeah.
Yep. Fresh tyres, Simon. Might be a bit handy towards the end of the race. I think Liam Page might agree with that statement. We were writing his obituary practically, or you were. I'm throwing you under the bus. You're his team manager. But yeah, we're writing his obituary for taking the tyres. But after a confident overtake on Alvarez, Dixon Chen, with 8 minutes to go, it's going to be a bit of a tall order keeping Page behind him in the Ferrari at this pace.
It is. I don't think he will. I mean, he gave way to Ritchie seemingly a bit too easy for my liking, I would say. He didn't really defend that position. And just like in the first 30 minutes, we're going to see a move from Page on Dixon Chen, I think, before the end of this one. On to lap number 30 they go. Usually the last 5 minutes everything comes to life, so Page is going to be saving it for those 5 minutes, I'm sure. As yeah, he's probably going to be happy that he's finishing on the podium, but equally, from my perspective, I'd say a race victory lost, because he seemed to have the pace advantage over Watts, and he would have come out of the pits in front of both Watts and Ritchie because they had the success penalties to serve. So, I mean, the podium is still a good recovery. Even Ritchie's going to miss out on the race victory here because he's, even though he is closing that gap to Watts, he's 11 seconds adrift. I mean, even that 15-second cushion that he had before the pit stop wasn't enough here, so that just goes to show how much time you save by not taking tyres as you're riding on board with Liam Page now. He's looking very racy to get that move done before the end of this lap. If I was Liam Page now, I'd just be sitting patiently behind Dixon Chen. We can see that Dixon Chen is struggling for that traction out of the corners. And you know, after turn 1 you've got a monumental slipstream to take advantage of, I'm sure. Oh, Dixon Chen into the wall there. Will Page get a move done this time? No, not on the inside. Dixon Chen is defending that. You would think that Page is going to have the momentum and the run out of turn 1. There's going to be that extra damage on board Dixon Chen. The Audi is struggling. Page is all over the back of it now. He's just got to make sure he gets a brilliant exit up through this section of sector 1. He's going to have that slipstream. He's going to get that drag. He should be able to successfully make this move before the chicane. Well, maybe not, because that Audi looks like it might be running very low wing to have a massive pace advantage. Oh, right round the outside, Liam Page goes, he's onto the grass. Oh, he's thrown that away then. He tried to avoid Dixon Chen, who was also a bit bouncy over those curbs. I think that was just a bit of a Constantina effect there. He was anticipating Dixon Chen getting it all wrong, but Like I said, John, in the last 5 minutes, he's going to get that move done. He's just holding out for then, I think.
That's what it was. He was holding team orders. That's what it is. Simon has decreed overtaking the last 5 minutes, please, Liam. So there we go. We'll see what Dixon Chen has to say about that. Richie has closed the gap. He is down to 10 seconds on Watts. Watts just needs to bring this one home at this pace. Jones and Carter still having themselves a whole lot of fun in these Porsches, and they've actually caught up to Mustafa Ranjbar just ahead of them. Ranjbar losing pace to the two Porsches hand over fist, so I think he might be carrying a bit of damage on his front end. Carter looking for a good cutback move there down the hill, not able to make that stick, and that's opened him up to the advances of Jones, who's been trying to get past him for the last 5 laps unsuccessfully. Carter with a lot more pace in the straight line than Ranjbar, so yeah, adding... Oh yeah, that's front end damage on Ranjbar's Aston Martin. He's going to be massively compromised in a straight line. Let's go on to the forbidden far chase car just to see how side by side they get. Is he going to get it done round the outside? Oh, a bit of contact, and Jones is going to say thank you very much. That's surely at least one position, if not two. Can he hang it round the outside? Carter is going to say, please give me this position back. He's going to hang his nose in there as well. Ranjbar is going to hang on to this one, but Jones finally getting the overtake done on Carter after 5 patient laps. And it doesn't look like he's going to be too patient looking to get the overtake done on Ranjbar. Not that he's going to go full send on him, but he does look like he's got the run on him here out with turn number 1. They're already side by side as they chase down towards turn number 1. Can Carter get a counter move up the hill? He was nice and late on the brakes there. That Aston on the inside line, the two Porsches on the outside line. It's Carter that's getting all the slipstream up the hill. It's Jones that looks like he's got that second position secured, but here comes Carter straight back at him. He's already side by side with the Aston Martin. He's hoping on Jones Jones moved right over and he's given Carter the slipstream. Personally, I would have stayed in front of Ranjbar there and given him the slipstream, but it's closed the competitor right back up against these two. Will continue the battle for the last 3 minutes of the race with Jones now just ahead. That gets some. He's still 5th in class. Got Juzma and Morant ahead before he gets to Christensen, who's still in that 4th place. And he's got, is that Morant just behind him? No, it's not. It's Michael Firth, actually, who he's just lapped. Liam Page sickens out round 5 between Page and Dixon Chen. Page is caught back up again, and in fact, Kowaleski still hanging on the back of your Socats then. The podium sitting silver drivers had a worldy of a race. He's put in some serious defensive performance this evening. And he's hanging on to 3rd and 9th overall. So a great drive for him in the Porsche. Chris Fielder just ahead of him. Ryan McCord still in 2nd in the silvers, within a second of Rollins ahead. So he's found a bit of time on him there. Page still trying to find his way past Dixon Chen. Dan Watts 2 minutes from victory. 9.2 seconds up the road. From Richie. So despite the penalty, Richie's still managing to get himself up onto the podium. Another worldy of a drive. Kowaleski is still applying that pressure there, and Jones. Oh, it's once again behind Carter. Oh, so let's see what happened here then. Aiden Carter chasing Jones. That is not turn number 1. That is... Oh, and he's had a big wiggle on the exit to the final couple of corners. That was just up from the heel. So 3 corners from the end of the lap. The Porsche, so Jones getting the job done. Having an unforced error then. He was clearly ahead of Carter, but Carter wasting no time in pouncing, retaking that position. These two are going to go on it for another couple of laps. Incredible stuff. And Dixon Chen, no rest for the wicked Liam Page. Look how close he is getting as they head towards the heel. Having a look up the inside. Chen holding his line. The Ferrari closing up on the brakes. Can he get the exit? Audi still seemingly getting it done in a straight line.
Right, man. Leader is on the final lap.
There is confirmation the leader is on the final lap. Dan Watts, what a drive from him, but Liam Page still pressing. What do we think, Simon? Do we think the Ferrari can get it done on the last lap?
He hasn't got many corners to get the job done now. There's a few small opportunities. He needs to be very brave on the brakes, trying to get that move done, because Dixon Chen is really struggling now for that traction out of the corners. I don't think there's going to be the opportunity unless Dixon Chen makes a mistake himself. That is the only way that Liam Page is going to get through, I believe. But it's been a fantastic battle to watch.
The leader has finished the race.
Oh, I missed him crossing the line. Sorry, Dan. Wait a minute, let's rewind this 30 seconds. Here is Dan Watts winning the race. Now let's make sure we catch this. Coming through the final couple of corners. Phenomenal drive from Dan in the BMW. 5 seconds success penalty to serve from the previous round. And he has taken third place in qualifying, up to first in the race. Congratulations, Team RTO. Jeffrey Ritchie, what a drive there. Took fresh tyres and a 15-second penalty. Still gets himself second place on the podium. And right at the end, Dixon Chen did hang on. Page only 2/10 behind. And it is James Rollins who did in fact hold on to get the silver win. Ryan McCord in second place. And your Sokach succumbed to Kowaleski at the end there. But will hang on to take a podium in the silvers. Christensen, last week's winner, takes fourth place. Jones lost a couple of positions at the end there. Carter gained a couple. Joe Boyle down a few positions as well. So too Jonathan Reed. But incredible racing right through the field there, Simon. And an amazing drive by Dan Watts to fend off Jeffrey Ritchie, who it's safe to say is just a different level of pace.
Yeah, I mean, Jeffrey Ritchie's fastest lap in this, and his pace overall, is quite outstanding. But twice now he's lost the lead, and he's not been able to retake it through strategy. So, I mean, you can have all the pace in the world, but if you can't look after your tyres and you lose the race lead, then well, that's how the cookie crumbles, unfortunately, sometimes. Pole positions, leading the race by 10-15 seconds. If you can't convert that to race wins, need to have a look at maybe possibly changing something in the setup to preserve your tyres, because that's certainly what Dan Watts has done this round, and he's been able to pick up a sweet victory in that BMW.
Yes.
Dixon Chen actually holding on to third place from Liam Page as well. Page again also taking tyres. The wrong strategy call here today. Dropped all the way down to 5th or 6th, having to make his way past Alvarez. Almost made his way past Dixon Chen, but ultimately missed out on the podium here. And fantastic stuff from Rawlins, McCord and Sokach in the silver class as well. I don't think Rawlins took tyres, and he managed to hold off McCord, who did take tyres, because McCord had a pretty healthy lead coming into the pit stop. So yeah, the no tyre strategy seems to have been the victor here today, John.
Indeed it does. Indeed it does. And congratulations to the Victor Rollins, McCord and Sokach in the silvers. And Watts, Ritchie and Dixon Chen in the pros. That was round number 4. And so much more action to come from the Track Titan Virtual Sprint Cup. Of course, the series sponsor by Track Titan. Simply faster, get faster with automated insights and the best educational content in sim racing. Drive, analyse, learn, all with Track Titan. So get yourself over to the website. Get some vital version 1.9 tyre data. And yeah, get yourself out on track. Of course, we still have the mouse button stuck. Do love technology. We've still got Valencia next week. Only the second outing for the drivers here at SOP. We did the 4-hour fun event. And yeah, we've got an hour there May the 17th, so that is next week. Then there is a week off. It'll be Brands Hatch after that. And then, the season finale at Indianapolis. So massively looking forward to that one as well.
90 minutes at Indianapolis.
Oh, 90 minutes. So it is. No stint timer, no driver stint timer at all. Complete free-for-all that was going to be as well, isn't it?
It is, yep. No driver stint timer, so we're scrapping the 40-minute stint timer for the 90-minute race. So it's totally open strategy. I do expect every driver to take tyres. It's just at what point they choose to take tyres to get themselves that optimal strategy in the 90-minute race.
Indeed. Got Chris Wilson, in the chat. Good evening. How are you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Car Mentalist in the chat with the recommendation to drivers: don't drive Watkins with 25 seconds of rear end damage. Indeed. And we've got Dan Jones in the chat. What a bad race. Car switched off on the straight and the controls stopped working. And he had to change tyres. So there we go, Simon. There is confirmation of what happened to Jones. It's 2 weeks on the trot. The sim racing gods have frowned upon him. Hopefully, he can get.
I wonder if he's on a Fanatec system. They like to switch off mid-race.
They do indeed. The brake pedal and the accelerator also like to jam on. Nothing better than that happening at the Red Bull Ring in an F4. Let's leave that one. My thumbs have never felt the same, although didn't quite dislocate my finger the same as Booth B. That looks sore. Race to Forget, and yes, Fanatec. And there goes the sponsorship. Phenomenal stuff. Thank you to everyone in the chat this evening. Chris Wilson with a follow as well. Sorry, I missed that one because I'm, quite frankly, terrible at broadcasting and paid too much attention to the race. And we also had, does that say Chopasaurus? Oh, like that, Chopasaurus with a follow. And Linksy with a subscription as well. 7 months. There we go. And about 7 places made up for Linksy once again in the race. Incredible stuff. We'll be back on SOP Shores on Monday night for the continuation of the first ever Praga UK Cup. And the winner of that, VIP day out to Donington, as well as a Mazda R5 up for grabs. Reverse order grid in the second race. Yeah, you're glad you hit that follow button now. There will be plenty action in those ones as well. Let me just see if we can get a raid to work. The bots are a bit temperamental here. They do like to have days off.
Every day's a day off, is it?
It's honestly. I need the secretary to sign into Stream Elements and activate them because he's the one that's got access. I don't. I'm just saying.
That'll probably take me a whole month to figure out how to get into Streamlabs, John. You know how terrible I am at doing stuff.
I do indeed. And I'm the old one. This is what makes me laugh. I'm supposed to be the old one. Right, now please work. Come on. Invalid username. It's not an invalid username. Okay, we're not going to be doing a raid again, unfortunately, but I'm going to go and jump over and see Linksy. And he'll be doing some races, so yeah, jump over there. Big thanks again to everyone that raced. Congratulations to the podium, and of course, big thanks to the man in the commentary box once again for this series. It is Mr. Simon Baggas.
I love to join you when I can, John. A lovely evening once again.
Indeed.
Fantastic race to commentate on. Action to the very end. I can't wait to do it all again next week.
Oh, it will be a good one, Valencia. Oh, look, some extra camera time for the Nissan GTR as well. Hopefully Kieran Clifford's watching. He does have a bit of an affinity for that car. And massive thank you to Track Titan as well, of course, first, second and third in both splits, winning themselves a sponsor, a membership to the website. So until next Monday, stay safe, take it easy, and hopefully all your sim racing endeavours end in podiums and not the Shadow Realm. Take it easy. Good night.